Welcome to Research Realm, where we're going to dive into the good, bad, and ugly of clinical research. My name is Nicole Stiff, Business Development Manager here at Revival Site Network. Joined with me today is Dr. Mazhar Jaffrey, our President and CEO, as well as Ravi Allah, our Director of Clinical Administration.
Thank you for having us here. That's very nice of you. Really appreciate it. I think this is going to be a very exciting session and very excited to basically move forward.
Thank you, Nicole, for having us. I'm looking forward to the session.
What is the reason for starting this podcast?
We truly believe that we are doing so much work under Revival Research Institute as well as Revive Research Institute that that information has to be shared with so many other people who are doing a similar type of work, but also share notes and understand like what they are doing and also explain them what we are doing, because I think best learning process is educating each other. So this session should be helpful for people who are starting in research, who are already doing research, sponsors, CROs, other research sites, any other people who are working on this area should benefit from this discussion. But also we would like to get the feedback from them after the session. They can write their feedback, they can tell what is good, what they would like to hear more, so we can keep on building up the momentum of these sessions in the future.
If someone is hearing Revival Research Institute for the first time, how do you explain what Revival is?
The best one word is Revival is the hope for those people who are looking for a cure for their disease, and currently there's either no solution, either they don't have the best medication and they do not have the optimal treatment. So Revival is very, very focused on partnering with all top leading pharmaceutical companies, new startups, any organization that is focused on doing a clinical research. And the focus is that we have to precisely look at each and every opportunity in terms of molecule to be tested in humans and find the best cure so our future generations should benefit from it and they don't have to suffer the same way that our previous generations have suffered from. So in essence, the only thing we are looking for that there are so many unmet needs for these patients. We can find those unmet needs and find the best cure by helping not only the sponsors who are trying to bring the drugs in the market, CROs who are helping the programs, and also the patients who are the biggest beneficiary for their disorders. So I'm extremely optimistic as in last 11 years we have seen so many new medications came into the market, and we were also the contributor on that research, and we want to continue that momentum.
And also to add on to that, what made you decide to build Revival?
That's an amazing question. I think as you guys know that I have been in healthcare for a long, long time, almost like 30 years when I was trained as a physician. I practiced for 6 years, joined pharmaceuticals, and I think I knew the meaning, I knew the purpose that I wanted to contribute to millions of people who have different needs. That was the initial why I came to pharmaceuticals from pure clinical side. But later I had an incident where my mother got a diagnosis which was very grievous. And unfortunately during that time, there were not many drugs for that kind of a disease or cancer. And even though I was working for the best company, GlaxoSmithKline, and I had connections all over the world to find the best medications, I had no solution. I couldn't figure it out. And while I was doing that, I find out that one company already had a medication. So I called them, I made the connection, and also I find out that GlaxoSmithKline, where I was working, was also trying to find a molecule, and they were in phase 2 trials. So even though I was in the industry, it took me some time, almost a month or so, to really figure out where I can find a possible cure for my mother. But I also felt that people who were not involved in the industry or they were not educated, they have no clue what is happening, and they could have missed out because these people get 6 months to 10 months to get a medication. If they don't get the medication during that time, obviously it will be a catastrophic event and they may lose their lives. So at that time I decided no matter what I do, I'll create something where I would be the part of this journey along with big pharmaceutical companies, big research companies, and I'll put a small dent in that area. And that was the initial concept. And that led to give me an opportunity in 2014 where we started the first research center.
How did Revival build strong relationships with physicians and run so many studies?
So to start off with, going back to your previous question, like why did we start this podcast, right? We want to share the best practices that we have, that we are following with Revival, and make it known across the industry. So how we onboard our PIs is we have a robust onboarding program as well as a training program where we go through multiple steps. We have them go through their GCP training, HSP training, all the required trainings, fundamentals of clinical research. And I think at that point, we also take time to set the expectations right for the investigators where they know what they're committing to. They know what the time commitment is to give into research, because that is the biggest challenge is most physicians or providers, they really want to be part of clinical research, but they don't actually understand the time commitment and what does it take to be a good principal investigator.
What aspect do you think played a major role in the success of building those relationships?
I think having an open communication and setting those expectations right from the get-go. Nicole, I'm going to put you on spot here and ask you a question. Same question, because I know you manage and handle all of business development for Revival Site Network. In your opinion, what do you think is the main factor that plays in?
Having a good relationship with physicians is getting to know them, getting to know their practice, and trying to incorporate what we do and our daily operations into their office seamlessly. We're not there to disrupt anything, but we're there to add value for the patients, add another resource for them. So just getting to know them. Each site is a little bit different, and you have to have those personal connections with them to have a smooth operation. What does Revival look like right now for either one of you?
Revival is a monster in clinical research.
I wouldn't say like it's monster. I would say it's an uprising organization that has a very confident group of people who are working in the organization with a very clear concept that we want to create one of the finest organizations in the universe. Each one of us takes full responsibility and accountability to show excellence in whatever work we do and achieve success in every area that we can do. So I think the hope is, or desire is not to be the biggest company in the world. Our desire is to create excellence in research space where we provide data which is received by FDA, our sponsors and CROs very effectively. And I think that has been the reason for our success. That's the reason that 95% of our customers keeps on coming back to do research. That's the reason why top 15 companies use us extensively, and 60% of our business coming from there, including Pfizer, GSK, Amgen, Biogen, Genentech, AbbVie. List goes on, like Roche, and I feel very confident. But also, I think we are doing very well with the new startup companies who do not have very complex processes and procedures, who are still in the game. So we can add a lot of value into those organizations also. So I think we have a very good balance as a company, where we are working with the topmost companies for their very complex processes and procedures, but also working with very new startups which are very new and early bird. So I think we are bringing a lot of mix in that area. And I think the best thing is the results are amazing. We are conducting around 150 clinical trials every year, and all of them are getting more and more complex. It really pushes us to the maximum limits to make sure that we stay in compliance, follow the protocols, deliver things on time, timely data, clean data, and also understand and hear out that what is the need of the market, and make sure that we are following all the principles and requirements by the FDA. So challenging, complex program, complex, and this is, I think, everybody who works in this company enjoys that.
Yep.
All right, next question for
Yes.
Dr. Jaffrey.
Yes, please.
AI is everywhere right now. Where does AI genuinely help a site?
I think there's a very important and interesting question. At least I think about it like every single day of my life, that what AI is going to do to clinical research. So first of all, I have a very comfortable feeling that clinical research is one of the areas where AI cannot replace compared to many other areas that we have seen in radiology, that a lot of the radiologists' work can be done by the AI, which will eliminate like 70-80% of the need of that specialty. We are going to robotic surgery, so that'll be question dermatology. There are AI products that can really find out and diagnose properly, and also basically can write down the treatments. But I think clinical research overall, because it's a human-to-human interaction, I think it will take a long time to replace humans from clinical research and completely convert to AI. So that's one thing. The second area, like any other field, I think it is going to enhance what we do. So the areas where I think a big success is needed, first of all, we have started incorporating AI products through our partners, Digital Auxilius. They are building up tools for us. For example, like we had operators, like telephone operators or consultants who were talking to the patients to really get their medical history and other information. We have already checked last week where we have enrolled few patients without having any human intervention. And I think that was a very good conversation that I heard later, where after 30 minutes, the patient realized that she's talking to the AI agent. And she asked, are you an AI agent? And I love the response, and I say, yes, I am. Is it bothering you? And the patient said, no, it's not bothering me. I said, should I continue? And continued, and the full conversation happened. And this AI agent was able to capture every information that was needed. It was so accurate, more than a human. So I think that's one area that we have seen that we will have better interactions to educate our patients, reminders for their medications, really eliminating need of hiring 100 people to be talking to these patients, but also offload some of the work to these AI agents. So I think there's a huge room. I also believe that in the latest conferences, everybody's talking about AI. People are coming with different softwares and programs. I think the areas that we are looking for as a company, that how we can improve our processes. We already have very strong root processes, how we can get more help from the AI. I think that one area that I think we need to work as a research company or in the industry to really find out that how we can improve the compliance, how we can take the full protocol, create excellent e-source documentation, how can we capture the information, how we can use a compliance agent who will make sure that when humans are entering data into the e-source, that agent takes a look on everything and suggests things which are being missed or added wrong to be checked then and there. Or even if it's done, it should be a kind of a consultant who guide our CRCs that how to do it right. So e-source development, then after documentation is done by humans, checking that, which will further improve and enhance the process, plus other tools. The other areas that we are working on is basically, other than having discussions with the patients or conversations, the other areas that I think we are going to utilize is about having full pre-CTMS type of work. Like anytime before we start the study, a lot of work is done. So there's always things that can slip from a hole. The balls can be dropped. So if we have a very strong, robust program, then this extra help from these AI agents will help us to enhance our process and make sure that we are not missing one item here or there. Though as a company, I'm very happy with the progress. But again, we are dealing with humans, and that's the biggest challenge in research, because you're dealing with so many humans and one patient, that lack of communication or miscommunication or misunderstanding of those communication can create problems. So I'm hoping that we find tools which will eliminate these concerns and these problems and these challenges.
And to add to that, I think AI helps with, helps the site operations being more effective and efficient, where let's say if humans are involved for a task, it requires 4 hours for you to complete that task. With the help of AI, you can complete that in 2 hours. So that is 2 hours of time that is given back to the site staff to perform or to focus on what is more needed, which is patience.
And on that topic, do you think AI tools like the voice calls will make it easier for patients or create trust concerns?
It's a good question. I think in the initial phases, I think there will be a trust concern because an AI is only as good as the data that you feed, right? So you'll have to train the tool or the system to know that what kind of patient population it's going to deal with. What are some commonly asked questions? So you'll have to train the AI in order to be able to answer those questions, and that is when the trust is built with the patients too.
And as I was mentioning that I heard the conversation last week, which is the first time we used the AI agent for the communication. So a patient call in the middle of the night, and we do not have representatives covering those calls. That was picked by the agent. Having a 45 minutes conversation that I listened myself, there was not a single question that I felt was not appropriate to the conversation. So the AI agent was building up the story with the patient, and patient didn't realize it till 30 minutes. And something happened, something triggered that she asked, "Are you an AI agent?" So if that was a first step, then I'm more optimistic that I think our organization will use this tool that is provided by one of the vendors. And I think it is just going to go better, have a better version if we keep on working on it. Like anything,
absolutely,
AI is also not one and done. It's just a ongoing building up the process and procedures. But I think anyone in the industry or any industry right now who is there, I think it will not be fair not to use AI products to improve and enhance their system. So I think, like any other company, we also need to utilize all those tools we can.
Yeah, I think one statement is AI will not replace humans.
Yes.
AI will replace humans who are not taking advantage of AI.
That's a good saying. Yeah, really appreciate it. Yes.
Okay, Ravi, with your day-to-day operations, what's the biggest operational pressure you see on research sites right now?
It's a multifold question.
And it's not me. The pressure doesn't come from me. The pressure. So
no pressure.
Yes.
I think the biggest challenge we have is with people. Starting off with retention, giving them clarity, giving them their goals, guiding them throughout the journey. I think those are the main pain points when you're managing a research site.
For rare disease trials, what's the hardest part for sites? Finding patients, keeping them in the study, and measuring outcomes clearly?
That's a great question and very thought-provoking question. I think as I have seen in the last few months, the trends are changing. Most of the pharmaceuticals, big, small, or new startups, they are going for rare disorders. They are trying to find cures for rare disorders. They are trying to look for the disease states which have unmet needs. And the biggest unmet needs are in two spaces, we all know. Number one is oncology. There are only 25 or 30% cancers which are 100% curable at this time. So the 70% are uncurable, and some of them are very, very rare. So in the past, the companies were not focusing on those rare cancer disorders. Now they are. So first of all, to begin with, they are 1 in a million patients. So of course, obviously, it's hard to find those patients. But from a research site perspective, it's challenging because to keep the business open and keep it running, we need patients to recruit. But the whole industry is moving in that direction. So the challenge is that you cannot bypass, like many site networks are bypassing it by just doing vaccine trials. They're simple, easy, one injection, get the feedback. What we never were focused on vaccine trials. We always probably did one or two based on the request of the companies, and 3 or 4 per year, versus many site networks were depending 70-80% of their portfolio was around vaccine business. So we knew that this is not going to be stay for long, and there'll be challenges in this area. That's why we had a very diversified business. But overall, if you look at it, like the whole industry is basically going into like there's rare disorders. So it's definitely challenging, and we have to pick like based on the data that can we enroll few patients. So enrolling those patients, some of these studies are very long. So that's the first challenge, finding those studies. On the top of that, finding those patients. And third is retaining those patients, because these are complex disorders. They have really big health issues, adverse events, SAEs. Some studies are 2 or 3 years long. That's a problem. The second disease state area is neurology, where we have a lot of unmet needs. Still, there are no cure for myasthenia gravis, like many other neurological disorders, neurological degenerative disorders. There's so many things which needs to be discovered. So we all have to learn to basically be in that space and try to find out how we can have a larger catchment area to bring those patients. And I think pharmaceutical companies have to think about increasing reimbursements so we can bring the patients from far distances if we find one. Even if it's like overseas patient, because some disorders are so rare that when I talk to our PIs, they say, oh, they've seen one patient in the last 5 years. So think about how many patients are there. So it's like 1 in a million type of case. So, but we have to start learning. If we want to stay in the business, we have to go for those rare disorders studies also.
All right, so we've had a great discussion so far. Now we're going to move into the rapid fire questions.
Great.
Ravi, name top 5 clinical research conferences this year.
Okay. First one for me is SCRS. Next is COPE, ACRP, Magi, and World Vaccine Congress.
All right.
Good.
Rank the easiest to most difficult therapeutic area.
Tough question, but I'll try to answer. I think internal medicine, family practice, OBGYN, starting from simple side, getting more complex to endocrinology, nephrology, rheumatology, then oncology, being the most toughest.
All right. What are the best countries worldwide to get into clinical research? Name 3 and why.
Great question. I think from a perspective from pharmaceutical industry, as I've been in the industry, I think number 1 is still United States, followed by Germany, which is the second most place, and Japan. There's a third area where a lot of research has been done and will continue done, but it will be taken over by China, because a lot of this work is being moved to China, especially for preclinical studies or like from molecules identification. So I think it's changing rapidly. But historically, if you look at like US was number 1 and Germany and Japan.
Ravi, operationally, what are the most challenging departments to set up? Finance, QA, regulatory, marketing, and HR. Reorganize them from the most challenging to the easiest.
Every single one of them is a challenging department.
Yes.
But I would say most challenging is
QA, I think.
QA, or I'm thinking QA or regulatory.
I think, yeah, QA
They're both very important as far as, following your compliance. Then finance, HR, marketing.
Okay. What is more tough, negotiating a budget with sponsors or negotiating salaries with employees?
Ooh, that's a real tough one. Yeah. I think negotiating salaries of the employees.
Yeah.
All right. Mazhar, what is the hardest truth about leadership that no one talks about?
I think being in a leadership position, it's always about when you wake up in the morning, the only thing you wish for, that nothing goes wrong today, because as a leader, you have to find out solutions of any problem that will hit you. So let's see about we have around 100 employees or 300 employees. Everybody is doing at least 50 to 60 tasks. There is a guarantee that 3 or 4 tasks will go wrong. So you wish for that nothing big happens, small things. So big problems require big solutions. And I think people, when they look from outside, they say, oh, this company is growing, this company is fast. But sometimes they miss that how many scars are on the back of these leaders They have to go through that, like through every single day, every single moment, and hope that nothing bad happens, which is imminent is going to happen. And their role is to basically find a solution to those problems quickly.
And to add to that, more often than not, it's always the smallest issue that will lead into a major problem, not the other way around.
And that's why they say, don't let the grass grow under your feet, because it's hard when it grows up.
Yep.
So leading on that, what does quality actually mean to you in clinical research?
Good question. Quality for me is, doing the right thing even when no one is around. That comes your patient safety, your source documentation, and everything that you do in research. You don't need people watching you to do the right thing.
And what is one misconception people have about your role?
Most people think that, operations or administration is all about control. You're trying to control people, you're trying to control the processes that you have in place, but it's not about control, it's all about clarity. Giving that clarity to the people working around you that this is where we are headed. I think that is the misconception most people have with operations.
Dr. Jaffrey?
Yes.
What's the biggest decision you made while you were hungry?
That's a great question. I think most of you know that I never get my lunch on time because there's always something, conference and meetings happening on. So sometimes it goes to 3 or 4, like today it's almost 4 p.m. and we are still waiting to have a lunch. Your sugar level starts dropping and it's almost like kind of a panicky feeling. And then you have to make decisions. And of course, sometimes you have to make those decisions. So I think the biggest decision is, as any human being, is like fight or flight situation. So when you're hungry, there's your brain push you to take a flight from every decision you can versus fighting. So I think it's very hard to tell, but I think every day we go through those discussions. Yes.
Daily.
Yes.
And where is Revival going next?
Revival is going in different places. Number one, we are organically growing, and we are growing big time. So we almost are reaching to almost 25 site network. This has organically grown by the people who have started with this company 11 years ago. With the work and the efficiencies and effectiveness of their work, we have gained a lot of momentum, gained a lot of support from pharmaceutical companies. So we are very happy how we have worked together as a team and gained that image that we are a trustable partner in research space. So that has allowed us to grow. Also, I think I'll give a lot of credit to our PIs. Sometimes they are not mentioned, but most of the PIs that we have, almost around 40 PIs right now, they have become literally a family member. So they don't work as a PI because they needed something or they're looking for finances, but they're into this space because they really truly believe they're adding value to hundreds of their patients who didn't have any cure, giving them new options or different options which are not even there. And these drugs may not be available in the market for the next 5 or 6 years. So they'll appreciate the fact they have access to the medications and treatments which are not even there. And the patients who may not be alive after 5 or 6 years if they are not cured now, like for COPD patients, cancer patients. So I think this gives them access, and I think this gives them the joy. And I think they are growing. And I think most of our new doctors are coming to us because they are hearing good things about us, how we respect them, how we trust them, they can trust us, how we improve compliance. So I think it's a word of mouth. So we are not basically buying or purchasing research centers like many of our counterparts are doing, but we are organically growing people who are in this business for a long haul. So I think the first is to basically to make sure that we are very consistent in our promises to our clients and sponsors and our patients. Second, we should have a consistent organic growth. The goal is not to be the largest company, but to be a very strong company that can fulfill the needs of this whole space of research. And third is basically organically grow over the period of time where the things are needed and focus on these new specialized and rare disorders where we are going. Also, grow in new different states. So we're already in like 7 or 8 states. We are growing in more states. So I think we are progressing in every area that we can. But I personally, as a CEO of the company, owes to all of my colleagues who are working in this company to give them the best future, the best hope, the best studies, everything. Second, I owe to our patients to give them hope, as I started earlier, hope that they can revive no matter whatever accident happens to them. And I take disease as an accident. So the name Revive and Revival came from there. That how we can really give the hope to our patients that there is a life, there is an opportunity to survive this chaotic event when they were diagnosed with a new rare disorders. And we are part of the journey. And the hope is that every day we are helping bring in new molecules which are going to affect millions and millions of lives in the future. We may not be here, but this all work is being done for the future, for our future generations. So I'm very happy to be in this space. I'm very happy that God has given us the opportunity to basically work with so many great colleagues, including PIs, our colleagues in the company, so many patients who volunteer for this research. It's an amazing life. I cannot ask for more from God and all of my colleagues, how much support they are doing this process. So looking at this whole process, I truly believe that in my heart that Revival is going to go places. It's just a matter of time.
Thank you for watching Research Realm. Stay tuned for more episodes.